Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okuru. The Nigerian government has confirmed the death of over 336 people in the latest meningitis outbreak in the country. In a statement issued on Tuesday, the federal government said it has also activated an emergency operations center to manage the epidemic. The meningitis outbreak started in Zamfara state before it spread to other states. The states currently affected by the meningitis outbreak are Kaduna, Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, and Niger, as well as Kano and the capital, Abuja. As of 3rd of April, a total of 2,997 cases have been reported, with 146 of those cases being confirmed by the Nigerian government. Meanwhile, the Center for Disease Control has announced that reactive vaccination for meningitis will commence in Zamfara state from Wednesday, April 5, 2017. The organization says it has been dealing with the problem of insufficient funds. To curb the outbreak, experts from the Federal Ministry of Health, NCDC, WHO, UNICEF, Medicine Sans Frontiers, among other health organizations, will take key roles in responding to the epidemic. The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, has suspended its nationwide strike action less than 24 hours after it commenced. The strike was suspended after the federal government announced the immediate increase of the bridging cost allowance payable to petroleum product marketers. NUPENG had threatened to choke off fuel supply until their requests were met by the government, an action which could have caused fuel scarcity and long queues in filling stations across Nigeria. Thousands of protesters stormed the National Assembly on Tuesday to protest against the suspension of Ali Ndume from the Nigerian Senate. The protesters, who are supporters of Ndume, barricaded the National Assembly, demanding the suspension be lifted from Ndume. The Senate had last week suspended the former Senate leader for 6 months, accusing him of deliberately bringing up issues that portray the Nigerian Senate in a bad light. The British government will release information about Nigerians who own property in that country in 2018. Bolaji Owosanoye, who is the executive secretary of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, told journalists in New York that negotiations on this had reached advanced stage. The measure is being taken by both countries to step up the fight against corruption. The Nigerian government is set to begin online registration of unemployed Nigerians starting from April 5, 2017. This was revealed by the Deputy Director of Information and Public Relations of the National Directorate of Employment, Edmond Onwuliri. Onwuliri said the registration was in compliance with NDE's mandate to obtain and maintain a data bank on unemployment and vacancies here in the country. President Muhammadu Buhari will on Wednesday launch the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan from 2017 to 2020. This is according to a statement on Tuesday by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina. Adesina says the launching is to sustain and build on the successes recorded in tackling corruption, improving security, and revamping the Nigerian sector. The World Bank, under its Growth and Employment Project, has approved 756.3 million naira for disbursement to 81 young Nigerian innovators. The innovators participated in the 2016 Asovilla Demo Day. The AVDD is one of the economic empowerment initiatives currently employed by the present Buhari-led administration. The Nigerian government says it remains committed to strengthening the country's civil service. Head of the Civil Service of Operation, Winifred Oyoita, revealed this during the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation and the African Initiative for Governance in Abuja. Ita Oyo maintained that the government would provide timely assistance, dedicated personnel to the agreed projects and plans.
This is the first time that the Federal Civil Service would be going into an MOU with a Nigerian-based entrepreneur and business partner in the person of the AIG. the Africa Initiative for Governance Chairman, Mr. Aigimokwede. I've been challenged by this arrangement we have with AIG. And the challenge is this. I'm seeing that this is an opportunity that the civil service must not lose to change the narrative that the service is laid back, lackadaisical, uninterested in moving forward or in actualizing the various reforms that have been designed over the years. Will it go the way of past reforms that are gathering dust in the archives? I want to assure you, sir, that this will not go the way of past reforms.
One of the most important aspects of this plan is that it is not government acting alone, because what reform has shown is that private-public partnerships in the 21st century are the key gateway towards successful reform projects, whether in the private sector or in the public sector. And so we will bring private sector resources, private sector expertise, and private sector commitment towards this effort. And one of the goals of the transformation program lies in automation, for example.
A federal high court in Abuja has fixed May 16th to rule on the application for no case submission filed by Charles Oka and Nwabweze Obi to dismiss terrorism charges brought against them. The prosecution had on January 31st closed its case, but the applicants opted to file a no case submission against the Nigerian government, urging the court to dismiss the charges brought against them. The defendants are alleged to be masterminds of the 2010 Independence Day bomb blast in Abuja that killed at least 12 people and wounded over 17 others. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has asked the Federal High Court in Lagos to give an order compelling the federal government to publish details of the 388 billion naira Paris Club refund. The funds were alleged to be diverted and mismanaged by 35 states of the Federation. In the suit, SERAP wants Abubakar Malami, Attorney General of the Federation, to use the information provided by Ahmed Idris, who is the Accountant General of the Federation, to take legal actions against those states that reportedly diverted the funds. An Abuja High Court has dismissed a 6-count charge leveled against Godsday Orubebe, former Minister of the Niger Delta Affairs, by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC. The commission had earlier accused the former minister of being involved in a contract fraud worth 1.97 billion naira. Olukayode Adeni, the judge presiding over the case, discharged and acquitted the defendants after the charge was withdrawn by the prosecution.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello, Alhaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello, Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I will just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we're in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you're raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. It's now time for business news with Fidelia.
Thank you, Thelma. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has directed all banks to pay cash over the counter to desiring foreign exchange customers. The directive, according to CBN spokesman Isaac Okorafor, was issued to further ease the access of customers to foreign exchange. He said the Apex Bank had also released the sum of $240 million to meet genuine demands from users of foreign exchange. The Nigerian Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative (NEITI) says recovery of just 20% of unremitted revenue by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) and the subsidiary the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company (NPDC) can offset the deficit in the 2017 budget. In its March 2017 policy brief, the Oil Industry Revenue Watchdog said, by its own calculation, total unremitted revenues to government's treasury amount to 316 billion naira. At the current exchange rate, this comes to about 7.2 trillion naira. Now, this means the government would not have to borrow from both local and international banks to finance the 2017 budget. Oil prices rose on Tuesday as expectation of a drawdown in U.S. crude and product inventories outweighed news of higher Libyan production. Benchmark Brent crude oil was up 40 cents at $53.52 a barrel, while U.S. light crude was up 25 cents at $50 a barrel. Now, both benchmark recovered from 4-month lows last week on expectation that the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, would manage to tighten supply by cutting production under a deal agreed in 2016. Well, that's all on business. More stories coming up. Don't go away.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so...
Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no. You don't need to do this. We're only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Okay, which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. At least 60 people have been killed and dozens wounded in a suspected chemical attack on a rebel-held town in Syria. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that strikes on Khan Sheikhoun by Syrian government or Russian jets had caused many people to choke, including children. Later, aircrafts fired rockets at local clinics treating the survivors of the chemical attack. A Syrian military source denied the government had used any such weapons. Russia's defense ministry meanwhile insists that it had not carried out any airstrikes in that area. South Africa's President Jacob Zuma has said the country's fiscal policy would remain unchanged after his shock cabinet reshuffle last week. The president has faced severe backlash over his decision to sack Pravin Gordhan, the country's much-liked finance minister. The controversial cabinet reshuffle shocked local markets and triggered protests from within his own party, business and opposition parties. On Tuesday, South Africa's largest trade union and ally to the ruling African National Congress said President Jacob Zuma must step down from office. Pressure has also been growing on Zuma to step down amid numerous allegations of corruption. Peter Osaze Odemwingie has joined Indonesian club Madura United FC. The striker was unveiled in Jakarta. Coach Haruna Samaitro during the ceremony expressed his delight at signing the Nigerian striker. Odemwingie will wear jersey number 24 during his spell with the team. He last played for Rotherham United of England. The Football Association will write to David Moyes after the Sunderland manager threatened to slap a female reporter during a post-match interview. Moyes was involved in an exchange with BBC Newcastle and Radio 5 Live reporter Vicky Sparks after the Black Cats 0-0 Premier League draw with Burnley at the Stadium of Light on March 18th. While Sunderland are said to have elected not to take any further action against him, the FA has written to Moyes to ask for his observations on the situation before deciding whether to take any further actions against him. Well, that's it on the stories. Thanks for watching. I'm Thelma Okoro.